I'm Ryan Barrett, and I'm an actor.
Ta-da! So, you're one of our Canadian rising stars. We wanted to talk to you and find out a little bit more about you, who you are, what you're doing, what you've got coming up. And so I'm going to start off first of all by saying, do you go by Ry or Ryan? Because it says on your IMDb Ry.
Yeah,
I don't want to get it wrong.
I use Ry just because there are there's like three other Ryan Barretts out there. One of them is a supermodel. One of them is an Irish boxer. So I just use Ry Barrett as it's just an easier searchable name. So
Okay.
I go by Ry for promo stuff and all that.
Yeah, for industry stuff.
Yeah, for industry stuff.
Got it. Okay. And I had another quick question for you. I checked out on Northern Stars, your profile. Is that your picture? Is that a picture of you on there?
On Northern Stars, I'm not sure. Actually, you know what? That might be it. Might be because there's a Brendan Ryan Barrett, and he was a child actor.
Ah.
That's why I use Ry Barrett is because when first you would search my name, like movies that he would be in would come up too. I think he was in like Casper, and I don't know, like a list of other movies. But it might be him, or it might be the supermodel.
Okay, I'm
You're
thinking
a
it's
lot better
the
looking than me.
I'm thinking it's I'm thinking it's the supermodel. He's very posy,
Oh, okay,
and
that's
but
right.
it has your bio, and I'm a little bit like that's not Ryan that I know of. This seems weird. So I
No,
would
that's funny.
definitely get that fixed.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that because a lot of those sites like I don't even do anything with it. It's just they upload their own information and stuff like that. So I kind of don't even know sometimes. I'll go and check something and be like, wait a sec, that's not me. That's whoever. So yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm glad we've got that all cleared up. That's important to me.
Thanks for letting me know about that.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what films you've done. And there seems to be a big theme with them, mostly horror films, or as I like to call them, scary movies.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the films that you've done that people may know about or may know from your performances of.
Well, I think I'm probably best known for a film called Neverlost. I mean, if anyone's seen something of mine, it would probably be that. Um, that one is more. It's not so much a horror film, but it's more of a psychological drama fantasy sort of thing. But it does. There is sort of a theme. A lot of my stuff does tend to have sort of darker tones to it, darker characters. There's always some kind of except for I just did a family film. So aside from that, there's it has been a theme mainly because I am a huge fan of horror films, and it just kind of the first film that I started in was a horror film, and it kind of once somebody sees you in that, you kind of get recast in those types of projects, and they have a built-in audience. There's people love those films, and I love them too. So if people want me for their roles and they're good roles, then I'm gonna play them.
Hmm.
But yeah, Neverlost. I've done a lot of like smaller like appearances in some stuff too. I was in Antisocial, which recently it pretty much just came out. I play sort of a character in that kind of sort of mirrors the downward spiral that the plot kind of goes through. So that was fun to play, and I'm working with those guys again in an upcoming feature called The Drownsman, which just wrapped up shooting, and another one that will be coming out anytime soon is a movie called Kingdom Come, which I played the lead in. That is pretty set for a pretty big release, and I play one of the lead characters, so that would be one to look out for too. So
Nice. Well,
yeah.
that was one of my questions was whether horror had come to you or you had come to horror. So, but it sounds like it was quite symbiotic. Like you like it, but you're also wanted for it as well.
Yeah, like it's just kind of it's there's lots of it being made, and there's lots of interest in it. As an actor, I'm interested in everything. I love all types of films. It's not like I say that I love horror, but I also love noir, classics, westerns. Like
Oh,
I
we're
just
going to
love.
talk about that later because we
Yeah.
both love classic films. So I have a whole section dedicated to that. But carry on.
But yeah, I mean, I find that there's more horror films being made generally, I think, than other genres because it does have that built-in audience. But other than that, I mean, yeah, like I'm interested in everything.
And that's a strong community in Canada right now, is the horror genre films. Like it's a strong, tight, hardworking. I don't even know if they know they're making money or care if they're making money. They're just going full pelt, and they're making some really good stuff. So it's kind of exciting. Even I'm watching them, which is amazing. But you know, it's a really interesting time. Do you see that with being inside of that?
It is. It is. And it's great because there's always it is the Ryan Barrett who's the actor. Who's the
He found
so,
on the
yeah.
Northern Star.
Yeah.
It looked a little too posy for you. I was like,
Yeah, he's got a more chiseled. He's got more pretty eyes than me. So
we'll get that fixed up on Northern Stars.
Yeah. But yeah, and the thing is with Canadian, like there's always been like a history of Canadian like horrors and thrillers, and with like Cronenberg and like that whole school has always been there. But it seems like there's been a major resurgence in the past couple of years. I think maybe because the ability to make good films in an independent community has become much easier to like with the tools and to make these good films and to actually to show stories that don't necessarily have to have like a studio kind of telling you can or can't do this or whatever. There's been a lot more freedom, so I find that it's just kind of opened up a lot more doors for people to make these stories that stand out.
So I did check out Neverlost. You play Josh Higgins. That was in 2010 it came out?
Yeah.
And here's what I thought was really interesting about how you played the role. Was that you're I don't know, how tall are you?
I'm just shy of 6'3", so
Okay.
6'2", 6'3", yeah.
Right. We have a saying in England. I come from England. We say he was built like a brick shithouse. So you're kind of like Mr., you know, masculine, tall, muscular, da-da-da. In Neverlost, you were extremely vulnerable. Your character was extremely vulnerable, and you really played into that. And I thought that was a really interesting dynamic of your performance.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm glad that you noticed that. I'm glad it came through because that was one of the big things that was it was in the script, and it was what Chad wanted. Chad Archibald, the director. We talked a lot about that part because it was. I read the script early on, and it wasn't a part that necessarily I suited right off the bat because I had been bulked up kind of for other roles and stuff. And this guy was supposed to be thin and out of shape because he was in bed and it was just kind of, it didn't physically suit me. So like to mirror like the vulnerability that he goes through, I tried to slim down. I took off a bunch of weight for that and kind of try to get out of shape as much as possible for it. So I think that whole process helps with how you're actually mentally going through it and stuff too. So I'm glad that came through because yeah, it definitely mattered for that role.
Well, that to me was what made you unique in more than just being a supermodel actor on Northern Stars was that ability to kind of bring something a lot more vulnerable, and that's a nice combination. Like you think about you know, certain actors who are very kind of large in size, but who bring a lot of gentleness to their roles. Like what was the guy's name from The Green Mile? You remember him?
Oh yeah, Michael Clark Duncan?
Yeah, like somebody who's strong like that, but brings, you know, kind of a gentleness to the performance. I really like that. So
yeah, I admire like actors like Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale. Like they're those types who,
yeah,
well, they're very big and physical, but then they lose the weight or they do whatever they have to do to kind of suit what they need to do, and they can be very vulnerable. And I like to look at those type of actors as something that I could, you know, fall into that kind of category. Hopefully, do the types of things that they do.
Okay, so now something else I found very interesting when I was looking you up was that you did a film called, you wrote and produced a film called If a Tree Falls.
Yeah, we shot that in 2008, and we shot it on a very, very tiny budget, and it was kind of one of those things where it's like we just wanted to. Nothing was happening that summer, and like within our group, and we just wanted to shoot a film, and so we kind of just went out there and did it, and it ended up going a lot further than we ever expected.
Did you like the exercise of writing? Is that something that comes very fluidly to you?
I've always loved writing. Like I'm kind of just constantly writing random things. As a kid, I wrote short stories and little things like that. And it's always just kind of come through. I used to play in a band and I wrote lyrics and just all that kind of stuff. So it's always been something I've always done. So I figured a couple of years into acting, I was just like, well, you know what? I love this storytelling aspect of it, and I want to do more of that. So I've kind of I wrote that script, and then I mean, that wasn't even, I wrote other scripts too, but they never, nothing ever came of them, and I've written a bunch since, and there's some that are going into production and stuff like that too. So
Nice.
yeah, it's just something I don't know. I love to do it equally.
Yeah. So you couldn't pick one or the other.
I don't know. I don't think I could give either one up. I don't think I could. No. What my favorite one over the other? I don't know. They're both kind of like an outlet, right? So.
Yeah. Well, it's a good combination. Writer-director or writer-actor. That's a good
Yeah.
combination. It worked out for Lena Dunham. It'll work out for you.
Yeah.
So tell me what projects you do have coming up. Tell me what part of the process, your scripts that you do have on the writing side, but also on the acting side as well. What can we look forward to?
What is coming out in the next little while? There is Miami Social just came out. Say for the makers of that, The Drownsman is it just finished production, like shooting. So, and I think it's going to be heading to festivals in the spring. And then I don't know exact details. I can't really say exactly what they are yet. And that I play the Drownsman in that, so I sort of play like he's meant to be like a sort of iconic horror character along the lines of like Freddy Krueger or the Candyman or like if you Hellraiser, all the great horror baddies of our time, kind of. And then there's Kingdom Come, which I play sort of like a haunted anti-hero in it. It's from a company called Matchbox Pictures out of London, and we shot that last winter, and it was a really great experience. We shot it in a giant abandoned mental asylum just outside of Chatham.
Wow.
And yeah, it was quite the experience shooting that. I'm really looking forward to that getting out there. And then other than that, I shot a family film called Monkey in the Middle, which I think will be hitting DVD, and it's a movie of the week, but I'm not sure like what channels or what that will be hitting. I think that'll be out sometime this spring around World Cup, because it's to do with soccer. There's a monkey in it. There's kids in it. It was very different for me. It was a lot of fun to do.
What more do you need? Kids and monkeys. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. I saw the script. I was like, really? I get to work with a monkey? Like,
I'm in.
Yeah, and then I mean, other than that, I got a few short films that are kind of making the rounds and about to make the rounds. One's called Climbin', another called Lively. Upcoming projects. Upcoming projects. I have. I just got signed up for a Bravo Facts film that's shooting in a couple weeks. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say anything about it yet, so I just kind of. Yeah, and then I'm signed up to play another villain, two other villains in two other feature films. One is called The Demolisher, and the other one's called Save Yourself. And they're two very different roles for me to play. So I'm really, really excited about those two that are coming up. And as for script, we've written a sequel for If a Tree Falls. Actually, like a trilogy for it. Which we're looking to go into production later in the year. So kind of working on that a lot right now, and a few other things too, but they're kind of up in the air. But that's what's on the plate for right now.
Well, I'm not going to call you the hardest working man in entertainment, but I'm going to say you're no slouch. You're keeping up, which is good. I'm going to start lobbying for roles for you, like rom-com roles. I want to see you in something kind of rather sweet and
I'm waiting for something like that. I mean, I've auditioned for different things, but I've never been booked for my rom-com premiere yet. So
I'm gonna start lobbying for that. So let's talk old movies, because this is an affinity we both have. Tell me, what are some films that inspire you as a filmmaker, or as an actor, or characters you love, or performers you love?
Oh, that's I just thought there's so many.
Narrow it down for me.
Yeah, for classics, I do love a lot of noir stuff. I love a lot of like Billy Wilder's, anything by him. Old westerns, John Huston, Sergio Leone, like all that kind of stuff. Performers, I mean, oh, there's so many. Like Henry Fonda, Clint Eastwood, Steve McQueen, like any of the classic guys. William Holden, I'm a huge fan of him.
Oh, I love William Holden.
Yeah, I just anything he's in, I'm just just kind of got to watch it, and that I don't know those types of leading men and those types of actors I've always just kind of they're very interesting to watch because they're the tough guy, but then they often play the vulnerable kind of role. They play the tough roles too, but I don't know. I've always been drawn to those types of roles, and all those kind of films. I just love classic films, so pretty much all of them.
Best of luck, and we want you to keep us posted on the Canadian Film Review. So let us know when you do have movies coming out, or forward us to any of the publicity people so that we can kind of follow your career, because we think you are a Canadian rising star.
Well, thanks a lot, Kinda.
Who's going to be in a rom-com, Ryan?
Yeah.
I'm going to make that happen.
If that happens, I will. You'll be the first to find out.
Put me in your liner notes. That's all I want to say.